Nestled in the vibrant heart of the Caribbean, Cuba beckons travelers with its lush landscapes, lively music, and an unmistakable air of revolution. Beyond the sun-soaked beaches and vintage cars that have become synonymous with this island nation, Cuba unfolds a tapestry of unique political and economic dimensions. Within this tapestry lies a treasure trove of customs and practices that, while accepted within Cuban borders, defy conventional global standards. In this exploration of things that are okay in Cuba but illegal around the world, we invite you to embark on a journey through the fascinating and, at times, bewildering aspects of Cuban life. From unique economic practices to age-old rituals that challenge global norms, Cuba stands as a living testament to how normal can take on entirely different meanings when viewed from the perspective of this captivating island nation. As we delve into these distinct facets of Cuban society, prepare to witness a world where the boundaries of legality and cultural acceptance often blur, reminding us that the global tapestry of norms is a vibrant patchwork of diversity. Political system. Cuba, a captivating island nation in the Caribbean, harbors a political system that diverges significantly from the multi-party democracies that dominate many parts of the world. At the heart of this political realm is the designation of Cuba as a one-party communist state, where the Communist Party of Cuba stands as the sole legal political entity. In most other nations, democracy manifests through diverse political parties, each representing ideals, values, and interests. Citizens are free to choose from this array of parties, and their collective choices shape the nation's governance through a system of checks and balances. However, in Cuba, the political landscape takes on a different hue. The Communist Party of Cuba holds a prominent position. It is the exclusive avenue for political participation. While fostering unity and consistency, this one-party system diverges fundamentally from the multi-party democracies prevalent in much of the world. The intricacies of Cuba's political structure are a testament to the nation's unique historical journey and the ideals that have shaped its destiny. As Cuba continues to evolve in the 21st century, its political landscape remains a subject of both internal and international fascination, highlighting the rich tapestry of global political systems. Freedom of expression. With its unique political and social landscape, Cuba presents a complex portrait of freedom of expression. In stark contrast to the principles of freedom of the press prevalent in many democratic countries, the island nation enforces stringent controls on this fundamental right. In most democratic nations, freedom of expression and the press are cornerstones of a vibrant society. Independent journalism, open critique of government actions, and the free exchange of ideas are encouraged, serving as checks and balances in the broader political landscape. However, Cuba charts a different course, where the government maintains a firm grip on the flow of information. Independent journalism is heavily restricted, and criticism of government policies is met with resistance. These measures may be seen as counter to the principles of free expression that underpin democratic societies. This distinctive approach to freedom of expression reflects the broader context of Cuba's political system, where the Communist Party of Cuba plays a dominant role. As Cuba continues to evolve and engage with the global community, the issue of freedom of expression remains a topic of both internal debate and international scrutiny, offering a unique lens into the complexities of political and social rights in the 21st century. Internet access. Cuba navigates the digital age with a nuanced approach to internet access and usage. While there have been improvements in recent years, it remains a land where the internet is limited and subject to careful monitoring. This unique perspective contrasts the broader global trend of increased internet access and reduced censorship. In many democratic countries, internet access is readily available and vital for communication, information exchange, and economic activities. Citizens often enjoy the freedom to access a wide array of online content, connect with the global community, and express their views without the fear of censorship or surveillance. However, in Cuba, the internet's reach is controlled and monitored, reflecting the government's aim to manage the flow of information. While improvements have been made, the level of access and the extent of censorship continue to diverge from the standards of many democratic nations. Cuba's government's approach to internet access underscores Cuba's distinctive position in the digital age, where the principles of connectivity and free information exchange are balanced with a desire for security and control. As Cuba grapples with the challenges and opportunities of the digital era, its perspective on internet access remains an intriguing part of its ongoing narrative. Private enterprise. Cuba has a unique economic landscape, although it has embarked on a journey of economic reform in recent years. These changes have shifted the country's approach to private enterprise. However, compared to many other countries, the private sector in Cuba remains relatively small, and private entrepreneurship is heavily regulated and restricted. The private sector is a vibrant engine of economic growth and innovation in numerous nations worldwide. It encompasses many businesses, from small startups to large corporations, and significantly shapes the nation's economic landscape. Private entrepreneurs enjoy relatively more freedom to establish and operate businesses, contributing to economic diversity and dynamism. The path to private enterprise has been marked by careful regulation and control in Cuba. While the government has introduced reforms to expand the private sector, entrepreneurs often face limitations on the types of businesses they can establish and the scale at which they can operate. This approach contrasts with the more liberal environments found in many other countries. Cuba's journey toward a more diverse and dynamic economy is ongoing, and the unique contours of its approach to private enterprise highlight the complex interplay between economic growth and political ideology in the 21st century. Freedom of assembly. Cuba approaches the freedom of assembly in a manner that diverges significantly from countries where the right to peaceful assembly is constitutionally protected. In Cuba, protests and public gatherings that express criticism of the government are typically not allowed. In many democratic nations, the freedom to assemble and peacefully voice one's concerns is a fundamental right. This right is vital for citizens to participate in the democratic process, express their views, and hold their governments accountable. Public demonstrations and gatherings are often protected and encouraged. However, in Cuba, public dissent is typically met with resistance. Protests and gatherings critical of the government are often restricted or disallowed, reflecting the government's approach to maintaining control over the public discourse. The freedom of assembly in Cuba underscores the broader context of the country's political system, where the Communist Party of Cuba plays a dominant role. As Cuba continues to navigate its political and social path in the 21st century, the issue of freedom of assembly remains a subject of both internal debate and international scrutiny, offering a unique lens into the complexities of political and civil rights in a diverse world. Importation regulations. Cuba's importation regulations are characterized by their exhaustive detail, delineating strict limits on the types of goods that can be brought into the island from abroad. The Cuban customs law intricately defines what is permissible and what is not. Importing goods such as wireless microphones, walkie-talkies, satellite communication devices, and even artificial nails is subject to rigorous authorization. Resolution 10-2006 further elaborates on these restrictions. According to this regulation, any individual desiring to import wireless microphones, walkie-talkies, and satellite communication devices must secure specific authorization from the Supervision and Control Agency of the Ministry of Information and Communications. Moreover, they must also obtain a license for the equipment's installation, operation, and function. It's important to note that seeking this authorization does not guarantee its approval. These importation regulations are a poignant reminder of the Cuban government's meticulous control over introducing certain goods. They illustrate the complexities of international trade and the extensive documentation required to import even seemingly innocuous items. Understanding these regulations is crucial for travelers and businesses wishing to engage in commerce with Cuba. Foreigner accommodation regulations. Cuba enforces strict regulations concerning the accommodation of foreigners in Cuban homes. It is imperative to obtain official permission from the relevant authorities before allowing a foreigner to spend the night in a Cuban residence. Inviting a foreigner to stay without the necessary permit violates these regulations. The consequences of non-compliance with these rules can be severe. The residence's owner may face significant fines if law enforcement or migratory authorities discover a foreigner staying in a Cuban home without proper authorization. These fines are a legal penalty and can pose a financial hardship for those who choose to accommodate foreigners without following the established procedures. Moreover, individuals in Cuba are prohibited from offering foreigners rides in their private vehicles without holding a valid taxi permit. Violating this regulation can result in arrest and legal consequences. These stringent regulations highlight the Cuban government's intent to closely monitor the interactions between foreigners and Cuban citizens. Travelers to Cuba should know these restrictions and the importance of adhering to the established rules and procedures to avoid legal complications. Our journey through the distinct facets of Cuban life highlights the intriguing ways this vibrant island nation differs from many others worldwide. It's vital to recognize that the legality and societal norms can vary dramatically from one country to another. What is considered legal or acceptable in one place might encounter different boundaries and beliefs elsewhere. Cuba's exceptional political and economic system has given rise to these differences. It's important to emphasize that these distinctions don't inherently make Cuba illegal or wrong. Instead, they remind us that our world is a tapestry of diverse political and societal structures, each with its values and principles. As we conclude this exploration, we invite you to reflect that understanding and appreciating these differences is vital to global awareness. By embracing the uniqueness of each culture and nation, we foster a richer and more interconnected world. We hope this journey has shed light on the complexities and diversities that make our world a captivating and constantly evolving mosaic of traditions and norms. What aspects of Cuba's uniqueness surprised you the most, and how do these differences contribute to the country's identity? Have you encountered similar variations in other parts of the world? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of Cuba's unique landscape.